Hi, Stephanie here from Paradigm Expansions. I'm so excited to talk to you about this idea of your story. This is something I've been seeing in myself and in other people that we have a tendency to live out stories we tell ourselves. I'm not the first person to say this or the last. I want to share it in the way that I've been thinking about, in a way that has really helped me to feel the opportunity of changing my mind. So let me share some really common stories that you may be telling yourself or people around you may be telling themselves about life that have become accepted as true. Life is hard. Life is suffering. Life is a game. And to win, you got to grind. Do you agree? How much do you find yourself agreeing with those stories? Life is hard, life is suffering, life is a game. To win, you've got to grind. All three of those things, I'm like, yeah, that sounds true. And that in part has to do with my cultural upbringing and even culturally where I am right now. So this is, of course, kind of driven towards a Western cultural perspective. And yet the universal truth is that whatever your story is, it actually is just that. It just is a story. So let's look at this graph on the right hand side of your screen that is a way that I like to think about the idea that we've heard in neuroscience about our brains really only being able to pick up on a small sliver of reality. And if you nerd out with me here for a second, there's an amazing documentary with some physicists called A Trip to Infinity. And in this documentary, the physicists are talking about how a circle is 360 degrees, and no matter the size of the circle, it's always 360 degrees. And this is somehow proof of infinity and of breaking other rules of physics. So let's think about this circle as infinite possibility. And if you want to know more, highly, highly recommend this documentary, A Trip to Infinity. You have highly intelligent people in awe of life who they're like, we don't understand it, we can't explain it. And they're some of the smartest people alive right now. So I would highly recommend it. But let's come back to this idea that there's infinite possibilities within a circle. And I've heard numbers from very smart neuroscientists that say that there's an estimated 3 billion stimuli available to us at any given moment. And yet, our brains can really only perceive about 50 to 100 bits of information per second. And that's still a lot. 50 to 100 bits of information per second is a lot. So, what I'm trying to show you here is what the graph, when I typed in those numbers, it couldn't even give me a sliver where I had to take the differential of 50 to 100 to 3 billion. I had to make that way bigger to even be able to discern this tiny pink sliver of what we perceive in the whole purple infinite reality. So the whole goal of looking at this graph is to start to open our minds to the possibility of change, to the possibility that no matter what your past is, no matter what happened to you, you can do anything that you want. You can change. You can have the life that you've dreamed of. You can become the person you've dreamed of because that reality exists inside this purple infinite circle. It may take time, it may not happen tomorrow, it may not be easy, it may not be comfortable, but it's possible to change. And that's just the first step of I am not stuck. I am not guaranteed to have some sort of outcome in the future because of what happened to me in the past. The only thing that we do is we keep telling ourselves the story. Life is hard. I'm a victim because of something that happened to me. And yes, trauma may have happened, and and you can still become someone big. You can still become the person that you want to be even though that trauma happened to you. It's it's possible. So that's what this whole visual is all about. And once we start tapping into that truth, we can begin to use approaches and modalities and meditations to change. But the first step is just the awareness of possibility, that it's available to you to change. The way that I change, the way that really works for me is chakra meditations and visualizations. I have a lot of videos on that. That helps my brain take abstract concepts, pair it with concrete colors, elements, attributes, feelings, affirmations. It's interesting, it's creative, it's embodied. And that helps me actually make the change that I want. But it's this first step of opening to the possibility of change. And then as you do, you start to find the things that help you change your mind and the people that help you change your mind. So I encourage you, if you're watching this video, keep going. Open your mind. Let's see what's possible.